Hi everyone, it's Gwen from Rustic Diva Design, and I have a mini album to show you today, plus a tutorial. I'm going to show you how I made this album, so that if you'd like to make one, you can make it too. So this is a baby boy album. The album measures 6.5 by 6.5 with a 2-inch spine. So I'm going to show you how to make that and what I did. And my goal with this album was to use 6x6 paper pad. So I had this Echo Park It's a Boy 6x6 mega pad that I used just for this album here. And so I still have quite a few papers left in here. And then here's the scraps that I have left. Not very many. So, and I have some scraps and some cut aparts here that's left over. So that is that. And then I always use artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations to cover with my covers, and then use to make the excuse me, the pages. So this is a blue, you maybe can't tell that it's blue. I don't know the exact color blue this is. It's a darker blue, obviously, from Country Craft Creations. And then I did use some of this yellow, which is My Colors cardstock from Country Craft Creations. And so this is how they come. And this is yellow. So that coordinated well with this album. I will link the Country Craft Creations website in this tutorial so that you can find and go shopping and find the things you need there. So let's just go through, we'll do a walkthrough quick, and then we'll get into making the album. So on the cover, oh, I also had some ephemera with this collection that I used, die cut pieces of ephemera, and then this is the frames and tags. So there's some of that in here too. Excuse me. Anyhow, so on the cover, because this is a 6.5 by 6.5 inch cover, I did have to do a little extra matting because your paper is only 6x6 from your paper pad. So, but it works. And I'll show you a couple things that happened as I went along. So I ended up double matting here with white and then blue, and then I matted again here with the yellow and then the pattern paper. And this project is really nice for using up a lot of scraps. So, you know, this was just a scrap piece I had. This checker piece was a scrap, and then this piece down here. So I just pieced them all together on the cover and made it work. And then used a cut apart here and a cut apart here that I double matted. And then this tag was in the ephemera, and I just added a bow here and this little piece. And then this is popped up on foam, and this is also popped up on foam. So that's what the cover looks like if you're going to use my idea. Oh, and the enamel dots in the corners here. I don't remember. I have so many enamel dots that I just pick and choose whatever matches. I don't use it from a specific collection. Oh, and I also use my glitter pen a little bit here on the leaves, and then here on this little heart on the chair. This is the spine. Again, there's some extra matting because that's just what I ended up doing. And then the back is just plain with some extra matting here as well. I did ink my edges with the Tim Holtz, oh, and I just had it. What is it called? Faded Denim. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Something like that, a blue, just to go with this paper. So in the inside, on the front cover, front cover, there is this little folio that I tied closed with a ribbon, and then it opens like this. And you may have seen me make these before. Michelle Allen showed me how to make these If you haven't found her channel, you have to find her. She's amazing. So this opens up like this, and then I just stuck in a photo mat and a cut apart. So there's lots of room for photos inside of this folio, and I'm going to show you how to do that. This ribbon that I get, and I've mentioned this several times, I get it from an Etsy shop called My Scrap Cabin Shop. And it's this crinkly ribbon. I really love it. I use it in a lot of my projects, like most of my projects. So, and she's got different color schemes and such. So I really like that. Okay, so page 1. This is a 3-page album, if I didn't already mention that. And I'm going to show you how to make the pages. So the first page is just a flap, which has a pocket, and then I just put a photo mat inside here. And then this opens like this with a photo mat on this side and a photo mat here. And then it closes with a magnet right down here. And then we flip it over to the other side. And these two mirror each other. So this is a pocket here, which I didn't put anything in, but you can. And then again, photo mat and another photo mat, and then there's a magnet here to keep that closed. This page 2 has just a side pocket here that I put a photo mat in. And then again, as you can see, just the decorating, I was grabbing scraps and what I had. So I just pieced things together to cover this pocket like that. And it works. Just use what you have. Okay, and then the next side is a belly band. Just an easy belly band. And then I put just a plain photo mat, and then this one like that. And so that slides in here, and then another photo mat. I used a little cut apart that was in the paper pad, and then decorated that side. So those just slide in like so. And then this side is a pocket page with this little photo mat that pulls out. So here's the cover, which this is just a cut apart, and then I just pieced these together. And then on the back, there's another photo mat, and that just snugs right back into this pocket here. Maybe. Okay, like that. And then this side has a pocket and a flap. And that opens, did I get that in there? Like this, and I just decorated it like that. So there's a photo mat inside that I added. And then that just tucks in here. And then the tags, and they're the tag, this is a graphic 45 tag. And then I just added a little cut apart also to that. Now, this side was a disaster. So when I made this album, I was just going along, making things up as I went. I had no plan in mind. So when I got to the back cover, the inside back cover, I didn't take into account that I only have, you know, a 6x6 pattern paper to work with to decorate. So this was a little bit of a hot mess, but I fixed it. And you know what? If you don't know, you don't know, and you'll never be able to tell. So I'll just show you what happens here. So anyway, this flips up with this cut apart here with the flap, and then you have a photo mat here, and then there's this pocket, which I just added another photo mat like that. This ended up being where my disaster started, because first of all, I forgot to glue the flap down before I started any of my matting. And then realized that, oh yeah, you only have a 6x6 piece of paper. It's only 6 inches wide. Anyway, look, does this look like it's a mistake? I don't think so. So, you know, there's ways to fix things. if it doesn't always work out the exact way that you need it to. So anyway, when I show you how to make this album, I'm going to give you the dimensions for all of these things that are on this inside back cover. But I'm not going to do that with my next album that I'm making because I'm not gonna. So anyway, I'll show you how I made all that. And then this closes with a magnet if I didn't already say that. So once we get into the tutorial, I'll show you some stuff. So there's the baby book, 3 pages. So first of all, I've already made the cover for the next album that I'm going to put together and show you how I made it. But this one is going to be a wedding album. So I'm going to use the Echo Park 6x6 Mega Pad Wedding. So that's what I'm going to be making with this project that I'm going to show you. So let me give you the dimensions for what you need to make the cover. I've already done a tutorial on the lay flat cover method, which this is what this is, okay? Here's the cover, and I'm going to link that tutorial in this video. So when you follow the tutorial to make the cover, if you haven't done that already, if you don't know how to use this method, use the dimensions that I'm going to give you for this album, but follow the directions on how to construct it in the tutorial for the lay flat cover album, okay? Make sense? So what you're going to need for the cover is 2 pieces of chipboard, one here, that are 6.5 by 6.5, okay? And then the spine piece is 2 inches by 6.5. So cut your chipboard for the dimensions I just gave you, 6.5 by 6.5 and 2 by 6.5. Then you're going to cut your cardstock to cover this album. And it's always, just keep this in mind when you're doing a lay flat cover album. You can do it any size, just about any size. You're always going to, for the covers, the solid cardstock to cover your cover is always 2 inches. So you add 2 inches to the height and 2 inches to the width for your cardstock, okay? So the cardstock to cover this size is 8.5 by 8.5, 2 pieces of that. So there's 2 pieces of black, 8.5 by 8.5. And then the spine piece, you add 2 inches to the height and 3 inches to the width. So for this album, to cover the spine, you need a piece of solid cardstock that's 5 by 8.5. Okay, so with all those measurements, go to the tutorial for the lay flat cover album, and you can construct this cover with those measurements that I just gave you for this album size here. Okay, so let's get into the pages. So the first page, and I'll reference this back to, I'm going to do this last. We're going to start with the pages first. So we're going to have a flap here and then a flap here with a pocket on each side. So we'll start with that, and I'm going to leave that up. So page 1, when I reference things, it's going to be page 1A and 1B, so, or the, you know, the front and the back. So the first page is your piece of solid cardstock that measures 6 by 12. And I'm going to take this off so we can see the scoreboard. 6 by 12. And we're going to score with the 12-inch side at the top. We're going to score it at 1/2, 3/4, and 6 3/4. Okay? And then, once you get all of your scores in, this is going to be your hinge Again, we're going to do this waterfall style page, and I'm going to show you how to attach the pages too, with a little bit of a gusset here. Okay, so first let's fold on our score lines. Whoops, I don't want that one, sorry. Sorry again for my table that wiggles, because it does. Okay, so we have our 1/2 inch hinge piece and our gusset. So it's going to look like this. Here's your hinge. It's hard to see, I'm sorry, in the black. So we're going to have a 1/2. This is what's going to attach to the spine. Okay, and then where we scored at 6 3/4, we're going to fold this back, because that's going to be the flap for the other side of the page. Okay, so here we are, page 1. And so after you do your folds on the for your hinge side, I just like to put those back up just a little bit so I can have a guide and see what I'm doing. So we're going to first add a flap to this right side of the page, and you're going to need a piece that's 5 3/4 by 6. Okay, and then on the 5 3/4 inch side, you're going to score at 5 1/4 for your 1/2 inch piece to attach to the side of the page here. So let's fold that. And then I like to just miter my corners a little bit before I attach them to the page. And so this is going to go, so here's our hinge, and then here's the right side of the page. It's going to go on. We're going to glue it on like this. And I always do a dry fit. It just makes life easier just to see what's going to happen when you put the glue on, you know. So let's grab the glue and put this on here. And I'm just going to turn this so that I can see what I'm doing when I glue it down. Oops, can you see me? Just adding the glue, the boring part. And then we're just going to line this up to the edge, and I'm going to pick it up because I can't see, and just making whatever adjustment you need so that it's straight. And when it looks good to you, then just glue it down. Okay, and there we go. And there's that flap. Then we're going to add a pocket on top of this flap. And for the pocket, you need a piece of solid cardstock that's 6 1/4 by 3, and you're going to score it on 3 sides. So it doesn't matter how you start. A 1/2 inch on each side. 1/2 inch, turn, score a 1/2 inch, turn, and score a 1/2 inch. Okay? Then we just miter the corners, just going through that where the score lines meet to make this pocket. I also like to miter on the top. And then fold and burnish on those 3 sides. And then this pocket is going to go on the bottom of your flap. So again, I'm just dry fitting just to make sure. I'm going to open this up just because it makes it so much easier to see it. So much easier to see. So I'm going to make sure that this is right to the edge of on the left hand side, okay? So that it's not getting in the way of our fold here. So what I'm going to do first is just glue the bottom part. We're going to just glue this bottom flap down. And again, you're just eyeballing where you're putting it here on your page at the bottom and on the page, so it's not on your fold. Like so. And I'm just taking a look here. And once it looks good, we're going to glue it down. And there's your pocket. Like that. So when I decorate underneath a pocket, I don't always put the pattern paper all the way down to the bottom of the page. So I don't measure my pattern paper to fit all the way through the pocket. You can if you want to. I just don't because it saves paper. So to keep your pocket from, you know, you want to smooth so things don't catch when you put your stuff in, you know, like this. They don't catch on that flap that you just glued down. Just put a piece of tape on the bottom of that. Like this. And then you'll have a smooth pocket. Okay. And then what I do is I'm not going to decorate this right now because I'm not ready to do that because I want to make this album for something. So I just measure to see how far down in the pocket that I want to go. So on this page, I would probably cut a piece of pattern paper that is either 4 1/4 or 4 1/2 by, what are we going to do here? What's this page size? By 5 1/8. So then you're saving a little bit of paper. And then once I put the pattern paper down here, then all you need to do is glue these two sides down for your pocket and just glue it up like that. But I'm not going to do that yet because I want to decorate this first. Some people cut their pattern paper and then just stick it in here, you know, after the pocket's glued down. I don't like to do that because it doesn't work so good for me, so I just don't do it that way. But you can do it that way if you want. Okay, so anyway, here's your front of page 1. So page 1A is the right flap and the pocket. So let's flip it over. Oh, and then in the inside, you know, you're gonna, hey, what are we doing? Let's do that first. See? Oh, here we go. There's always something. If I forget things, you gotta tell me in the comments. Okay, so we're making this here, like so. So if you want to decorate like this, there's a photo mat here and a photo mat here, and then just a magnet. And the magnets are down, like down here, so that it doesn't get in the way of the photo mat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark on this side that I need a magnet here, like that. Magnet, and the magnet's gonna go somewhere over there so that I don't forget to do that, okay? And then you're gonna decorate this if you'd like, however you'd like. And then when it closes, then you have the magnet closure here and it's out of the way of everything. Okay, so now let's flip it over to page 1B, which is the same as page 1A. with the flap and a magnet and a pocket. Okay, so again, we have the front of page or 1B, and we just need to make a pocket. So you're making another piece that is 6 1/4 by 3, and you're going to score it on 3 sides just like we did for the first one. A 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, turn it, score a 1/2 inch, turn it, score a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to do the mitering, miter to make the pocket. And then fold. And then we're going to add this pocket to the front of this flap, like this. Again, just doing a little dry fit to see, because sometimes things get wonky, so we have to check and fix. Now, of course, are we wonky on this video? We are not. It's going to be fine. Okay. So just gluing the bottom flap of the pocket. And again, I'm going to open this because it makes it so much easier to see. And then right to the bottom of the page. And again, not on your fold. And just lining things up. And gluing it down. So here is our page 1B. And then a piece of tape. I usually just eyeball it, get pretty close. And just sticking that in there. And there you go. And then again, cutting your pattern paper to decorate inside before you're gluing these down, which is totally fine. And then you're just gluing your pockets up like that. So in the inside, again, we have, I'll show you here. This is what we have. We're going to open this up. Another photo mat and a photo mat, and then there's magnets in here. So there's one right about here and right about here. Okay, so I'm going to just mark that so I remember that I want to put a magnet there, and then this other one is going to go probably about, you know, wherever it lands, how you put magnets on, so that I don't forget. Okay, so there we are. Page 1, front and back of page 1 is constructed. So moving on to page 2. I'm just looking at my notes here, sorry. Page 2A. This is simple. Page 2 is going to be a piece of solid cardstock that measures 6 by 8 3/4. Can you see that? And then on the, let's just do it. Sorry. On the 8 3/4 side, take care of my glue here, sorry. We're going to score at 1/2, Do I have this in here? Yes. 3/4. And again at 6 3/4. So all we did was shortened up this page to make a smaller fold here that's going to be just a simple pocket. Okay. So this is what we're making right now. We're making this page that has this pocket here. That's it. This is easy part. Okay. So once you have your score lines, we're going to fold and burnish. And we're making, this is our hinge here. And then this fold is going to fold forward this way to make our pocket, okay? Just burnishing that down, making sure everything is nice and even. So all we're going to do on this page, again, you don't have to measure your pattern paper to fit all the way in the pocket, which I'll show you. So on this one, let's remove this. So underneath this pocket, this pattern paper does not go all the way to the edge, okay? So I probably did, I don't write down the sizes of my pattern papers, or sorry, I just don't. I probably did, unless I had a scrap, you know, I would either do 4.5, probably 4.5, so that it goes into the pocket a little bit. So this would have been 4.5 by 5 7/8, okay, the pattern paper. So once you get your pattern paper down on your page here, then you're just going to glue on this side and this end of the fold and this end of the fold and make a pocket. That's all you're doing. And then decorate your pocket however you'd like. And that's it for page 2A. Okay? And then again, I just had that photo mat in there, whatever you want to put in the pocket. Turning it over to page 2B, we have the belly band. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this back in here nicely. Okay, so here's our belly band page, which is easy to do as well. So let's show you that. So your belly band, and I think I may have just grabbed a piece of scrap as well, and it ended up working out just fine. So this belly band measures 1.5 by 7, and to make your belly band, all you do is put it in your scoreboard on the long side, or in this case, the 7-inch side, and you're scoring at 1/2 inch here, and this is 7 inches, so you're scoring at 6.5 here. Or if it's, you know, you can just turn it, score, turn it, score. Okay, you're just making that those little wings there for your belly band. I like to decorate my page before I put my belly bands down. That's just how I like to do it. So let me just show you. You're going to fold on your score lines. And then I like to, again, do a little miter, just a smidge. You don't need a lot. Just to get rid of some bulk. And then once you decorate your page, all you're doing is gluing this belly band, center it, you know, use your score lines for your hinge as your guide, and just center it, eyeball it. I eyeball it. If you want to measure exactly, you can do that. But I just usually eyeball it and then glue down the top. And then glue this here and glue it down like this, and your belly band is on. I'm gonna do that after I decorate my page though, okay? So that is page 2A and 2B. The next thing is, the only thing I forgot to bring with me is my corner rounder. But that's okay. We can manage. So on page 3, we're making a pocket page and this little photo mat that tucks in here. So I'll show you how to do that, both of those things. So we're going to need a piece of solid cardstock that measures 6 by 11.5. Let's get the scoreboard out. I'll show you on the scoreboard. 6 by 11.5. And then we're going to score on the 11.5-inch side. You're going to score at 1/2, 3/4, and again 6 3/4. Okay? So just folding again on our score lines. This is our hinge. Okay, so we have our hinge, which goes like this. So now your page, here's your hinge. This is the way your page goes. And then we're folding this over to make our pocket. Just looking at making sure it's going to be even here. I'm burnishing that down. Okay, again, I'm going to decorate this before I put my before I glue the pocket down. Okay, so you only have this much of your page that's going to show when it's in your book, so you don't need a really big piece of pattern paper on this side. See here? You only need that much. So I probably grabbed a scrap piece, which would have been this piece right here. So your pattern paper only needs to be at the most 2 inches wide for underneath this pocket. Okay, so I want to decorate that first before I glue the pocket down. And then once you get your pattern paper in here, just add some glue to this side and this side, and then just glue it down. Okay, and then you have your pocket. So then we have this little photo mat that goes inside your pocket, and I will give you the measurements for that. We have a piece of solid cardstock for the photo mat that measures 5 by 7 3/4. And on the 7 3/4 inch side on your scoreboard, you're going to score at 3 1/4. Okay, that's it. Alrighty. So then we are just folding this way. And that's all. This is your photo mat. And I rounded my corners. I forgot to bring my corner rounder. I'm not going to torture you and run back upstairs and get it, because, you know, I forget things, and I do that sometimes. So I rounded the corners here, just on the front flap, as you can see. So this is your photo mat that tucks into that pocket, and then decorate it however you'd like with photo mats or pattern paper or however you want to do that. And then that again just inserts inside your pocket like so. Okay, like that. This is, I did mention, this is one of the cut aparts in the paper pad, so I just double matted that. Okay, and then the back of page 3, page 3B, I need to set this aside. So page 3B is a flap for the top. Let me get this back in here. Here's our, I'm going to take these out so you can see what we're doing. So we're going to put a flap at the top and a pocket on the bottom. And then this is just a photo mat. So I'll take all the goodies out of there so you can see what we're doing. So let's make those. So for the top flap, we're going to add up here, we need a piece of solid cardstock. That measures 4 by 5 7/8. And then on the, now turn it to the 4-inch side so that you can just make your 1/2 inch score. So on the 4-inch side, we're scoring at a 1/2 inch. This is for the top flap, and so I don't have to take this apart again. I'm going to tell you about the pocket on the bottom. So the pocket is 2.5 by 6 7/8. I'm trying to get it so you can see my writing. I don't know if you can. There we are. 2.5 by 6 7/8, and then you're going to score on 3 sides. So a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch, turn, and a 1/2 inch. Okay. So first we're going to put the flap on. So let's grab our flap, fold on our score line, and then again, I like to do just a little miter, just a little bit. And then on the top, this is going to go on the top of page 3B. And I'm going to open up this hinge so I have a little room. And again, dry fitting. So what I ended up doing is cutting this flap just a little bit shorter than the page so that I had a little bit of room to work with, so that it didn't get in the way of your folds and your hinge. So I have just a teeny weeny bit here on this side of room, and then I think, let me look, let me see how I did. What did I do? Yeah, I just kind of stuck it in the middle there. So we're going to glue this on at the top. And then I'm trying to keep in camera for you and see at the same time. So I'm just giving myself a little bit of room here in between the edge of the page on the left and the fold of the hinge on the right. And this is just going to work out lovely. So all the way to the top of the page. And glue that on like so. Okay, and then we have a pocket for the bottom. So just just making the pocket here. Just mitering those corners. And fold. Oop, whoopsie, I didn't get far enough here. I did not do it far enough. Redo. See, sometimes I didn't get quite into that score line like I wanted to. So we'll just take off just a little. There we go. And again, we're going to make this pocket the same way. I did not go all the way down with my pattern paper, and you can if you want to, but you do not have to. So we're just going to add this pocket. And now because it's a little bit shorter than the page, you can use your flap as a reference when you're gluing this down. So it's hard to see on the black, but again, there's a little bit of room here for just a little bit of room, which is totally fine. Once you get your pattern paper in here, everything's gonna line up just dandy. So I'm gonna glue this down. Again, I'm not decorating because I'm not ready for that. Glue, sorry. And we're just lining up all the way to the bottom, and then kind of centering again in between your score line on the right and the edge of the page on the left. And you can use this flap as a guide, and I tell you, it's all going to work out. If it's not perfect, it's okay, because things happen, as I mentioned when I was showing you the book. And again, a little tape. And there we go. That is page 3B. Okay, so then you can do your decorating on all the sides. Once you get your pattern paper in here, then you just glue your pocket down, and then you have your flap. Okay, so that's the back of page 3. Now, here we go with the inside back cover. I am not going to make this like this again, but I'm going to give you the measurements because you may be using a different paper collection than I am. And if you're using 12 by 12 papers or other papers other than a 6 by 6 paper pad like I tried to do, this will work just fine for you. So I'm going to show you how to cut your pieces for the flap and for the pocket, okay? So the inside back cover, I'm just putting my things together so they don't get lost. Sorry. Okay, so the pocket. Let's start with the pocket. That's easy. So here's your pocket. I'm going to take this out as well so you can see. This pocket measures, you need a piece of solid cardstock that measures 7 3/8 by 4. And so again, when we make our pockets, you make them the exact same way. Score on a half an inch on 3 sides. A half an inch, turn it, a half an inch, turn it. Okay, just like we made this. Okay, and then you're going to glue your pocket down. Decorate your, no, take that back. Forget what I just said. I would start with this flap. So back up a little bit. Let me give you the dimensions for the flap. This flap measures a piece of solid cardstock, 5.5 by 6 3/8. On the 5.5 inch side, which would be like this on your scoreboard, score at 1/2 inch to get your piece that's gonna glue down on your cover, on your back cover. So glue down your flap first. Glue this piece down first. Then put your pattern paper down, then add your pocket, okay? I hope that makes sense. If I've screwed it up somehow, please let me know if you have any questions about that. Otherwise, if you're doing it like I did with the 6 by 6 paper pad, you're just going to have to do some extra matting because your paper isn't wide enough. Or just leave it like that. It's okay. It looks fine, I think. Okay, and then I just put, again, a photo mat in here. So, then this is a piece here. This is a cut apart that I have matted with blue and with a piece of the solid from the paper collection. So you mat this on the blue, add the magnet, then put the green piece on, and then you have a magnet on top of your pocket. So before you decorate your pocket, you need a magnet here. Okay? But, like I said, I'm not doing that with this book, with the new one, because I'm not. I'm just not. Okay, we are going to make this instead. We're going to make this folio, and I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? These are easy. So, again, let's open this up. This is just a cute little folio that has this little pocket here and these two flaps on the side, okay? So let's get to that. That is going to be a piece of solid cardstock that measures 12 by 8. So here's our 12 by 8 piece for our folio. And let me just take this apart again so we can get to the scoreboard. On the 12-inch side, you're going to score at 3 all the way down and 9. Make one turn like this and then score at 2 all the way down. Okay? Then before we do any folding, we're going to do some cutting. So we're going to remove this square here. You're going to see once you have your score lines, we have a square here and a square here. We're going to cut these out, okay? So I like to go, and however, because this is going to fold up. So I like to cut on the outside of my score lines just to get rid of that bulk. And you know what? I'm going to start this way. So we're cutting out this section. Do I have this in here? Just cut up to this score line here. And cut. So I'm going, this is to the left of the score, just to give you that bulk. Or I'm sorry, to get rid of the bulk. And then you're just cutting up to that little part right there. So we're getting rid of this. So we have a flap and a fold. So again, on this side, we're cutting this out. And once you fold it, if you see that you haven't cut it exactly like you need to, or you might have just a little crooked piece, you can go back in with your scissors and fix it. It's totally fine. So this is what we have. This is what it should look like. Now, if I would have remembered my corner rounder, I would have done that right now. So I'm around all the corners. Here, 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 and here, and here. So I want to do that, and I will do that. I'm just going to fold this now. So however you want to start with your folding, this is a flap. And then this is a flap. Oops. And then this folds up. Now here's where you can score an extra little section to cut that out. I just don't. I just do it. I do it that way. If you're finding that your fold hasn't been cut so that it's not sitting in your fold for your flap, you just go back in with your scissors and trim off, you know, the smidgiest of smidgens, and it's going to fit in there just fine. Okay? That's all there is to it. This is your folio. And so you also want to make sure, and if your measurements are correct and your scoring is correct, these two flaps don't overlap because you don't want that. And that's all there is. So when I made mine, and I'll reference it again here, I decorated it first. So I decorate the inside and the two flaps, and then this bottom flap here, and then this side and this side. And then I just added a ribbon. So all you're doing is cutting ribbon, and you're going to glue it to the back of this side and the back of this side, two pieces. And this ribbon measures probably, because, you know, this stretches. It's a little stretchy. So it's about, I know I'm off camera for you a little bit, but I do about, maybe 12 to 13 inches of ribbon for each side. And then you just tack it on to the back before you glue this down to the inside of your front cover. And then you have your ribbon. And then you can put in here whatever size. I should tell you, this photo mat. Whatever you want. Cut apart. So I made a photo mat that was 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and then just decorated it accordingly. So there's room for photos in here too. So then once you glue down your folio to your cover, it just ties with your ribbon. If you're doing a ribbon closure, you can also do a magnet closure with a cut apart, which I have done before with these folios. You may have noticed that in other videos of mine. I don't remember which one exactly, but I may have. So that's the ribbon closure. You could also do, where did I have a little cut apart here? Somewhere. I know there's one here. So I've done it where I just used a cut apart as the closure, so it's going to glue on this side, and then the magnet goes on this side, okay? And then if you're doing that on the back, if you're making a folio for the front and the back, which I am going to do with this new album that I'm making 2 of these. So one for the front inside cover and one for the back inside cover, instead of this mess that I have here. So then if you do a magnet closure, you would glue it on this side, and then the magnet would go on this side so it opens towards the outside of your book. Okay, there we have it. So there we are, a 6.5 by 6.5 inch album with 3 pages. Hang on. See, I do this all the time. You're going, hey, lady, show me how to put my pages in my book. Yep. I'm gonna do it, but I almost forgot. Okay, so because, like I said, I have I'm not gonna glue the pages into my cover, this cover yet, because I want to do some decorating first and it's just not ready. Can I back up for a second, you guys? I'm sorry. In the beginning of this video, I told you how to cut your chipboard and the cardstock to cover your chipboard. I gave you all those dimensions. What I didn't remember was to tell you the size of this piece here to cover the inside of your spine. My bad. So let me go back and find that. And I'll make some notes in the description of this video too. Sorry, I know I always screw something up. That's just my nature. So this piece right here that's going to cover your spine is 5.5 by 6 3/8. So 5.5 by 6 3/8. Okay? Sorry. Back to what I was saying. I'm not going to glue the pages into this cover yet. So I've just made like a mock-up of a spine here. That's the same size as for the album we're just making. So we have 3 pages, right, that we already put together. This is practice paper so that I can show you, and hopefully that it shows up better with the black and white. So pay no mind to the dimensions of this page right here. The only thing that it matters is this spine is the same size as this, okay? So I'm showing you how this is gonna go. So once your pages are completed, or if you want to glue your pages in first and then decorate them, you can do that too. So we have, let me just show you, and I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. Just making my my folds so that you have your 1/2 inch piece to glue to the spine and then your little gusset so you have some room. So again, this practice paper that I'm working with has, pay no mind to the dimensions. You don't need to know that because I already gave you the page sizes that you need, so you're good. Okay, this is just to show you. See, this practice paper drives me nuts because it's flimsy. I don't want to use my good paper. Okay, here we are. So let's save that one for last. Okay, so here's your spine. You have a 2-inch spine, 2 by 6.5. So our pages are going to glue down just like this. This is your 1/2 inch. Your 1/2 inch piece is going to glue onto your spine just like that, okay? And we're going to center it sort of. I mean, I eyeball everything from top to bottom so that you have the equal space. And I made a line here because that's where we're going to start gluing, and to have a little bit of our pattern paper or solid cardstock showing in your spine if you want. So from the edge of your spine, which is this white paper, it's about a 1/2 inch, okay? You don't have to get it exactly. I mean, you want it very close, but if it is not exactly 1/2 inch, it's okay, honestly. I'll show you why in here. So I had a little whoopsie when I glued my page down. I have a little bit of pattern paper that got stuck from my gusset. Nobody's gonna know. It's okay, it happens. So when you see your spine, see how you have this little bit showing, and you can use whatever paper you want to cover your spine. You may, I might have a little bit more showing on this side than I do on this side. Oh, well, who's gonna know? Unless you point it out to people. Nobody's gonna pay attention to that. It's okay. It's just because things happen when you start gluing things down, and once it's down, it's down. I mean, unless it's really off, but you know what I mean? That little bit doesn't hurt. So again, take your 1/2 inch piece, add your glue, and again, do not miter these. Don't miter the little corners here. Leave these all, don't miter. Don't do that, because we want them all the same. Okay? And then on your spine, at your mark, and again, just eyeballing the top and bottom, and I'm getting close. And you're gonna have to just, you're gonna have this in your book so that you can tell what if it's straight by the cover. Use your cover as a guide. This probably won't be exactly straight. And then I'm going to glue this down. And again, I'm working with this flimsy paper. So, okay, like that. There it is. So here's your first hinge. And your page is actually going to be this, like this. Okay. The second page, we're going to glue again on this 1/2 inch, and then we're going to glue it right up next to that first page, like this. Okay? So when you add your glue, line it up, your 1/2 inch hinge, and you're just going to put these right next to each other. If you have to finagle it a little bit, you might have to. Mine isn't going to be exact because this paper doesn't want to cooperate with me at all, but I'm showing you. Okay, and then just glue that down. Like that. And then the last page, we don't do this. We're going to do it different. So on your third page, you're going to take your hinge and you're going to fold it the opposite way, just the 1/2 inch part. Okay? Fold it the opposite way if you need to burnish it again, which mine needs a little bit. And then this part, this piece that's folded up now, is going to go glue right on top of your last page instead of next to it. Right on top, but not on the fold. Right here. So you're just going to glue it on top of the other one. So just like this. Glue here. And then this goes right on top. And mine moved because, there we go. And again, you're making sure that you're straight in your book. I'm gluing that down. Just like that. And that's how you add your pages. So again, let me just get this folded like it's supposed to, and there. So now you have, here's the back, and so when you open it to the front, you have this side of your spine showing and this side of your spine showing. And that's how you add your pages. That's all there is to it. Okay, so there we have it, our 6.5 by 6.5 inch album. This is my baby boy version. Can anybody tell me where did this come from? I took it from somewhere and now I can't find where I put it, but I'll find it anyway. So if you, again, first of all, let me tell you, I'll put all the links in the video description to how to construct the cover, how to shop at, or where to shop at Country Craft Creations for artisan cardstock, because it literally really is so nice for when you're covering your chipboard. And again, my scrap cabin shop for the ribbon, if you're looking for the ribbon like mine. And then the tutorial for the lay flat cover method will be there. If I missed any of the dimensions on anything, please let me know in the comments. So I'll try to answer as quick as I can with those. And so that's it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate if you would do that, because it just helps me share more of my projects with more people. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you for watching.